Hey guys, this is Rick Houston with AirgunWeb and AirgunWebTV. I'm here with a new sponsor here for 2017, Air Venturi. They're coming on board here with AirgunWebTV, and I've got Tyler. How you doing, my friend?
Good, Rick. Good.
Where's your tag?
Well, hey, man.
You took the tag already?
I like to take it off, you know, for these things. Don't want people to know the full name. It's a big secret.
All right. His social security number is... Just kidding. So let's talk about some of the new guns you got going on here.
Sure.
This is a new line for you guys this year, so tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is Kral out of Turkey.
Okay.
Brand new manufacturer to the U.S. They've never been in before, so this is a big one for us.
Yep.
You know, unveiling, if you will.
Yep, I hear you.
They have the Puncher line. These are the Puncher breakers right here. Now everything's a Puncher series, so this is the Puncher breaker right here in the synthetic stock. Now this is their marine finish. They call that silver finish the marine. Check that out.
You grabbed the one that I immediately gravitated to.
Yep.
You know, we have got a very compact, actually pretty lightweight.
Yeah.
What are we pushing for weight here?
It's
8
about
pounds?
7 pounds or so,
Okay.
7.5.
You know,
Two-stage adjustable trigger, side lever action. You got the transfer port power adjustment there.
Cool.
Full magazine. Now it's a little different, the magazine setup. It's Marauder style mag, if you will, you know, spring loaded. 14 rounds in 177, 12 and 22, and 10 and 25. So, and they all come with 2 magazines, which personally I love.
And you got a probe to fill it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, standard fill probe, 1/8" BSPP threading. Now I know you're looking at the muzzle end there. And normally we'd have a gauge right here. Have to take it out for the show.
I gotcha.
The half shrouds keep everything nice and quiet. Now, the one thing you haven't hit on yet, see that button on the end of the stock there? All right, so this is one thing I really, really like about this. It's really clever. So you get 2 magazines, keep your second in the stock, loaded and ready to go.
That's a lot of features. Price point?
It's a ton, $550 retail. I'm not kidding you, man.
With the variable power too.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
26, 27 foot-pounds in that 22 caliber. They're putting out about 40 good shots within a 25 foot per second spread, which is, quite frankly, even more impressive. Got a wood stock option as well. Synthetic's going to save you about 1/2 pound, and of course there's a matte finish and then the silver finish, you know, both styles.
That's very cool, and I really do like the suppressor, the shroud that you got on there.
Yeah, and another thing I should mention, actually, so you see that little brass cup right there?
Grab this, hold on.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Because this has got, I think, what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. So in all of the Kral guns, this little brass cup can be fitted with this screw, which holds on this Weaver Picatinny style rail. So if you want to put a bipod on it or a sling mount or whatever you want, lights, lasers, you got it.
Now this is the full-size version.
Right, the Puncher Mega. Now there are 2 lines, if you will, in the full-size gun, the Puncher Mega and the Puncher Pro.
Okay.
Now this is the Mega, so more of the sporting gun.
Okay.
Synthetic stock, as you can tell, pretty lightweight.
Pretty decent.
Yep. It's all the same shared features of the actions of the other, but a slightly longer air tube at 330 cc's as opposed to 280 on the Bullpup. So even more shots, you're looking at about 60 good shots within a 25 foot per second spread in 22 caliber.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So this is the super awesome one, right?
Yeah, and you can just tell getting your hands on it, you know, it's got more of the fancy lines, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that Target style thumb up grip, which looks really good. That rollover cheek piece, which is, you can probably fall asleep on that, I think.
It's actually very nice.
It is.
Now you were saying you may have a different cocking mechanism here?
So they're probably initially going to come in with a bolt style. Okay. That'll be the first run, and then we'll probably have it changed over to a side lever action.
Okay.
But having used it, this happens to be the 25 cal. I didn't find it too bad, you know, in terms of that hammer spring effort. Right. Yep. Wasn't bad at all.
No, that seems pretty workable.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems very workable. Okay. Well, very, very nice. So this is a whole new line of PCPs. Affordability, okay? These were, what was these, about $550?
Yeah.
And this?
This is right at $550. The Puncher Megas dropped just a little bit. It's right in that $500 to $600 range that we don't see a lot of guns in.
That's a very, very, that's a lot of value.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
All right, so what else you got for us? All right, Tyler, so we've got a couple BB guns here.
Sure.
What we got going on here?
All right, so everybody knows Red Ryder, most iconic thing ever, or whatever. So Air Venturi decided to go ahead and make a John Wayne Little Duke.
Very cool.
One thing that I've always been a fan of is the big loop on the guns. So we went ahead and made the large loop for the Little Duke here.
Sure.
Not only that, but obviously you have the Duke's face, you know, right up against your cheek, gives you a nice little feel. It says Little Duke engraved in there, and you got the signature on there as well. 550 BB capacity. They load right into there. as many as you can pour in pretty much, and 350 feet per second, and that's a true 350 feet per second.
That's right there, that BB, that like Boy Scout BB,
right?
You know, training gun kind of a concept.
Exactly, and the big thing here, in all actuality, is what you can't do with the Red Ryder is shoot those Smart Shot BBs from Air Venturi, okay? And those are a heck of a lot safer than having BBs ricochet everywhere. Right. So what you can do, when we were designing this, we had them make sure that it could be used with the Smart Shot. So there is no magnetized system in here, so it does work with those copper-coated lead BBs, which is huge. Yeah. Outside of that, it's going to be adaptable with the lasso scope mount, which allows us to, you know, mount a scope on it. So not only can you teach the young shooters to shoot with open sights, but also with an optic.
Give them something to shoot with, a little bit more precision.
Exactly. Yeah. $49.99 retail price point. And a little bit later on in the year, which you have in your hands, that's the little Sure Shot, the Annie Oakley version with the more slimmed down lever, but totally same functionality and everything.
I think my little girl is going to want one of these guys.
I think she needs one. We're going to have to send one your way.
Yep, that's very, very cool. Nice crossbolt safety.
Yep.
Got all the features you need. Yep, I think that'll be very cool, but this is not all that you have in the John Wayne.
Definitely not.
It's new.
Definitely not.
That's right. Let's grab this guy here. All right, so this already grabbed my attention.
Sure.
So this is your basic 1911, fully weatherized, all metal replica. Doesn't really get much better than a nice 1911. It's pretty nice. Anything unique other than the styling that we
Well, the weatherized finish, and obviously if you turn it around here, you got the John Wayne signature. You know, it's the 1911 commemorative edition. Comes in its own box, so you know it's a fully John Wayne'd out box, if you will. And we do actually have, now what hasn't been on the market with these, you know, in various other versions, is an actual weathered magazine that matches up with the finish. So we do have the extra weathered magazines available as well.
Okay, so you can keep the styling even with your extra bags.
Exactly. Yep.
It is a nice feeling piece. And we've seen a lot of the 1911s out there. And this is just another one. If you're a John Wayne fan,
this is the way to go.
What's the retail on this?
It's about $119.99.
All right. You know, if you're into the 1911 genre, that's actually a really good price.
Yeah.
And if it's built like the other ones that I've shot from you guys, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this. You've got all the right switches and knobs and bells and whistles, and everything works. So that's actually a really, really nice piece. But we are not done yet. Let's saving the best for last. We've got something that's right there. We're going to reset the camera. We'll be right back. All right, so we've got sort of the really cool stuff. I mean, the crawls, those are very cool, but the mind-blowing, game-changing stuff is sitting on the table here. Somewhat, maybe less so, but important if you're a guy who likes to tinker on your gun. You know, if you're a spring gun guy, gas ram, you got to take it apart. There's really nothing on the market. It has really not been anything on the market commercially to let you do that safely until now. Because there was the B-square, then that went away. And then you guys have this little guy.
Until right this minute.
So what is this?
So this is the Air Venturi spring compressor.
Oops, sorry, put it that way.
So this is a portable spring compressor unit. Nothing on the market ever before like it. So this actually will clamp onto any dovetail, weaver rail, Picatinny rail. So 11 or 22 millimeter, of course. It will clamp down onto that rail, and then obviously it's on an HW30 here, which is a little small, and you really don't need a spring compressor for an HW30 anyway, but obviously a little bit beefier tube here. You'd be more centered in there, and it's very simple. You just cinch it on there, and then screw in the back. Obviously you got to knock out a couple pins on most guns. It's pretty standard, and then you ease it on back to release that that pre-tension or preload on the spring, if you will, to be able to take apart your gun.
Well, this is important. You know, being able to maintain your gun is kind of a big deal, and there's nothing really been on the market. You have to build it yourself, which is what most people do. And that barrier to entry really prevents a lot of people from actually getting in there and doing stuff, fixing simple problems, or even just, you know, after enough usage, you got to lube it properly.
Exactly.
You got to use the right grease, right materials, get it in there, and that's good. I think that's going to do well.
Yeah, at $99.99, you know, if you have a spring break, a piston seal go, all of a sudden you can fix it yourself. Now you don't have to send it anywhere or throw the gun away anymore. It's right at your fingertips.
It is pretty easy to work on this stuff. You take your time. You know, don't rush and.
Obviously, safety's paramount, so that is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Now, mind-blowing #1.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the year of the game changers. Now, you guys already know about the 50 cal air bolt. What you may not know about is the 25 caliber and the 35 caliber air bolt. Now, works the same way, right? Muzzle loaded?
Yeah, same principle, just without the fletching. So we have stabilizers on the back instead. You could still adapt any broadhead you want onto it pretty much. Now, if you're running the 25s in a shrouded barrel gun, you may not have the opportunity to do that. But on something like the Sumatra, for example, as a perfect candidate for this, or a Air Force Condor, you know, those more powerful guns generating upwards of 75 foot-pounds in that 25 caliber. Now, I don't know how much you know about archery, Rick, but you know that's right in between that high-end crossbow number and that compound bow number.
We've been looking at a lot of, you know, really high-end compound crossbows.
Sure. And
they're pushing, oh, well, I say really high. Let me back up. Looked at a few that are like 400 foot per second, 350 foot per second, that kind of thing. And they're at 120, 100 and some odd foot-pounds of energy on target.
If you're lucky. You know, most of them are running 100 to about 115, 120, and that's with a pretty heavy arrow as well.
So, you know, now I've used this on a hog.
Sure.
This is awesome. I know you want to do that.
Yeah.
This on a hog, we're pushing 200 and some odd foot-pounds.
230 typically out of a Dragon Claw,
Just the lethality that you get out of this with a broadhead just surpasses anything else
unreal
I've ever seen come out of an air gun. It's just phenomenal. It is outstanding. And this right here is amazing.
And while the 50 is good, I'll be honest with you, I'm most excited about the 357. The reason being is that there's so many guns that it's usable in. You just opened yourself up, obviously. You have the Recluse, right? Which is similar platform to the Dragon Claw. We know about that. Now, this also works in the Benjamin Bulldog, so now you have a shrouded option. It'll work in the Ataman rifles as well. And those are 9mm 357s, 150 foot-pound guns. Now, out of the Bulldog and the Recluse, they're pushing about between 170 and 180 foot-pounds.
Wow.
And obviously, we just talked about the number with a crossbow. It's not even close.
And it just, when you're out and you want to be as ethical as possible.
Of course.
You want to be as lethal as possible. You've already got the air gun. Right? So maybe you're shooting a cast bullet or a cast pellet and you're at 100 foot-pounds or 120 foot-pounds, or like the Ottomans are great at 150, just bang, bang, bang every shot till you're off the reg, you know? But this just like, because when that broadhead hits and cuts, it's lights out. It's lights out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's putting far bigger holes than you get out of your cast bullets or your lead pellets. It truly is a no-brainer.
I hit a 150-pound hog and he ran 50 yards and he just fell over. I mean, there was no, we just waited, he ran, circled, and just took a couple last steps, and that was it. He expired like that. It was maybe 15, 20 seconds and he was done. And when my guides were telling me that, they were blown away, because they go out there with bow and arrow and stuff, and hit them 2 or 3 times, and
and this really not only that, but it's also for a lot of folks, it's opening up arrow shooting hunting again. For a lot of people that don't want to deal with cranking a crossbow or can't pull back a compound anymore, the air bolt is giving you an option that is a new way of hunting, if you will.
As far as I was concerned, you guys going with the ammo route versus the dedicated gun route was freaking genius. And I can't use the word I want to use on camera right now, but it just is the truth. I mean, this was the best way to go, because you've already got the gun, like you said, you've already got the Recluse, you've already got the Condor, you've already got an AirArms. I mean,
it's a value add, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
You got the gun that's super accurate with bullets or pellets. Well, now you got a gun that's also super accurate with arrows.
Now let's get to the elephant in the room here. This is the thing that has me extremely excited. Now, from what you're telling me, we have a true, workable, sustainable, affordable HPA compressor.
That is exactly right, Rick. So this is our Air Venturi compressor. 4,500 PSI max capability, so output. but it is adjustable.
Okay.
So not only can you fill your tanks with this, and it'll do an 88, 98, cubic foot tank in right around an hour. Okay, from 0 to 4,500. We're not talking topping it off. We're talking filling it from empty to full. Okay. All right. Standard quick disconnect fitting on the end. Okay. Okay. Now let's say maybe you don't need to go fill it, the whole thing. You just got a gun. You want to test it out really quick. It's got a quick disconnect on it. Well, guess what? You can fill your gun with this too. You don't have to worry about it. Because it doesn't go too far. Doesn't go too far too fast. That's because it has an auto shut off. Okay. So you simply press the gauge in here, dial it back to whatever pressure, whether it's something like the new Wildfire. I know you're probably going to be getting your hands on one of those. Hopefully. 2,000 PSI. You can dial it to 2,000. It'll go. That'll take a couple of minutes max. Yeah, maybe not even that probably. Not even. You want to fill, your 3,000 PSI gun, boom. You want to fill an adamant at 4,350, boom. Set it and not forget it, but I get the point. The thing is that instead of having to watch the gauge, I have sort of a Franken compressor that was made from military surplus parts. Sure. And Aaron fills it, and he's got to go back in and wash the gauge all the time. Yeah. I can run the thing forever, but the other side about it, we're going to get to this just a second. My compressor, I got to run earplugs to be able to be even anywhere near it because it's so stinking loud. You were telling me this is quiet? Relatively quiet, just over 90 dB. So, we could be having a conversation right now. Now, we're not going to be having a conversation the same level we're at now. It'll be a little louder, but certainly very feasible to be around it, near it. You can have it in the garage. It's not going to disturb you in the house. Okay. It really is a relatively quiet unit compared to a lot of the stuff out there. Okay. Serviceability. What are we doing here to, keep it running? Now, look. You're going to see a lot of things, and I've talked to these guys, I'm going to bring it up. You're going to see a lot of things on Amazon that look very similar. Sure. Why is this different? So this is, you have not seen a compressor offered from this manufacturer before. Okay. Many of these compressors look the same. Not all made the same, of course. We know that. And that's why you see some of those low price compressors on Amazon or other places that are, quite frankly, probably unsafe, but who knows? Yeah, right. We've tested a couple of them. We went to another manufacturer to have it made to our specifications. Okay. That was a big one. These run quite a bit faster than most of the stuff you'll be seeing. Yeah. Now that said, internally water cooled. There's also a fan unit on it as well. Okay. The water recirculates, so the only time you're going to have to refill the water is as it evaporates. Okay. Okay. As far as maintenance goes, I know you mentioned that. It is oil filled, of course. You can't get away from that. Okay. You fill it with oil, you're going to have to do probably the first oil change after about 30 hours of use, and then every subsequent 50. Now, there's no reason you have to wait that long, but that's what the manufacturer says is about the max lifetime for an oil cycle. And you also have what you guys can't see over here. And at about 58 pounds, we could turn it around for him if you really wanted to. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Grab that in? Sure. All right, so we just turned this thing around, rejigged the camera. What were you going to show me here? All right, so what we have here, this is our output filter where it's stored inside of here. It does come with one replacement, obviously, one in the unit already, which is very important. And when I suppose you need to buy more, they are going to be available for purchase. Manufacturer says max life is 50 hours. Now, the furthest we've gone testing-wise is about 30 hours. That's the most time-wise that I have on one of these compressors right now. And I'm about to change it just to pull it out and see what it looks like, but I don't expect it to be too bad. Well, let me tell you guys why this is important, why this is impressive, okay? So if you've got a desiccant filter or some sort of moisture trap on the low-pressure side, you're doing absolutely nothing, because you're really not going to get the moisture buildup until you're on the high pressure side. Yep. So you got to have something on the output side that's going to filter that air, separate that moisture before you put it in your gun. Yep. So this is basically a moisture separator, correct? Exactly. And a particle filter of some sort? Yeah. So this is what you need to have. If you don't have this, it's really no different than pumping with a hand pump. You're really not. You're not saving yourself anything. And this type of system, the output system, they're expensive. They're not like $150, $200 part you put on the front to, the desiccant thing on the front to separate. And that is for like a shop and an automotive shop. You're dealing with very high pressure and you've got a very expensive gun. You want dry air. Right. And if you're not getting dry air,
you're putting in dirty wet air, that's going to corrode your gun, mess your gun up.
Exactly.
So this is very, very important.
Yes, and it's going to catch pretty much everything for you. Obviously, you are going to have a little bit of buildup, you know, that gets past it, and then when you bleed it, just right out the bottom.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Last thing, I have my compressor at the house. It's 220.
Okay.
This is 110.
Lucky for all you folks at home.
Yeah, well, that's important, you know, because if you're running,
well, it's 110, yeah.
Yeah, 110. So I had to put in a special plug in the wall. I had to hire my guy to come in and put a plug in, or run off my dryers with some sort of cobbled thing, whatever.
Sure.
But this, you just plug it in and use it.
Exactly. With 110, I mean, anybody, any house in America is going to be able to use this.
It's actually more of a big deal than you might think.
No, I don't discount that at all. Yeah, it's definitely a huge one.
So I think that's about it. We covered the new rifles, the John Wayne stuff, the Air Bolt, this awesome new...
One thing, though, price.
Oh!
$1299.99. Okay. So for $1,300, you're talking about an at-home compressor or in your shop, wherever you need it. Okay? That's going to be able to do it all. This isn't a booster like, you know, some of the other units out there. This is a standalone compressor, $1,300.
You know, I think the only other thing on the market coming close is maybe $1,800 to $2,000 in that range.
Sure, and most of the other standalone units that are on the market still feel considerably slower. You're talking about 3 to 4 hours, you know, to do the same thing that this will do in an hour.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's there really hasn't been anything like it at this price that I've seen yet.
Oh, that's very, very cool. And warranty on this, what do you guys got?
It's going to be a year warranty. Obviously, we'll have parts, whatever you need past that, and can service them in-house if necessary.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up here at the Air Venturi booth for SHOT Show 2017. Tyler, thank you, man.
Yep, thanks for coming by, Rick.
Guys, my name is Rick Utzen with AirgunWeb and AirgunWebTV. Thanks for watching.